Black Hebrew Israelites again. We're back here with these Black Hebrew Israelites again. I want to talk about these people because enough is enough, right? In the last two videos that I mentioned Black Hebrew Israelites, I debunked their entire argument and their statements about how Black Americans are all Jews, and enough is enough. Now they're coming out saying that the song "Kumbaya" is a Jewish song, when it's clearly, I believe that song comes from Angola, and they're trying to say that the Angola slaves were Jewish, which they weren't. It gets really weird. There is a scholar in this area by the name of Tudor Parfait. And if anybody is really knowledgeable, I'm very knowledgeable in this area because not only am I a Black Jew, but I really care about this literature and this stuff, and say they care about this stuff too. But this is the challenge. I'm challenging all of y'all. Let's jump on a Zoom call. I'm going to give you your time to speak, show all your evidence, do whatever you want to do. We have all the evidence. Between myself, I spent 3 years on this stuff. Tudor Parfait, who's the world #1 expert on this on your whole literature. He was actually hired by the United Kingdom itself to go into Ethiopia and study the entire history of not only Ethiopian Jews, but Black Jews in general. And you can do your own research on who Tudor Parfait is, but if you've even read any of his literature. But I want to challenge all of y'all. Hey, if you want to make up these fake claims, you want to make up songs. Now they're starting to say that Paleo Hebrew was said by slaves in America. Weird stuff. It's getting weird. It's enough with the Ashkenazi abuse. It's enough with the Sephardic abuse. It's enough with the lies on Black people and Black Americans. Everybody can't be Jewish. It's not for everybody. It's a very hard life. You probably don't even want it. You really wouldn't want it, because if you want it, you would do it. But 70% of Jews, born Jews, don't want it. So, like, you don't even want what you're asking for, what you say you are. And then a big thing I find with Hebrew Israelites is that they don't understand a basic concept that I think most converts don't understand. Something that I didn't even understand coming into Judaism is that Judaism is not only about the Torah. Judaism is about what we say it's about, what our generation as a Klal Yisrael says it's about. That is a concept that you have to live. It's not something that you can read in the Tanakh. It's not something that you can get in the synagogue. That is something you have to live, breathe, and understand. And if you don't understand that, if you think everything is divine and it comes from Hashem and the scriptures are literal and that's all there is, and that's and you got the horse blinders on, that's all you're going to see, and you're going to discredit Klal Yisrael. So we got a group of people out here that are saying the rabbis don't matter. Klal Yisrael doesn't matter. You're disgracing Hashem. Blah blah blah. The Talmud is a demonic book, and they haven't even read it. You hate Yeshu, and all this wild stuff. You have to understand that Judaism evolves with Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael evolves with Judaism, but Judaism evolves when Klal Yisrael says it evolves, right? We don't need anybody else's say. Divine, we don't need divine say, and we don't need earthly say of what evolves Judaism. That is a very hard concept to verbalize, and it's a very hard concept to conceptualize. I mean, you Hebrew Israelites will never understand that. So I'm challenging all y'all, if you have the evidence, jump on a Zoom call, get in my DMs, get in my comments, jump on a Zoom call, Judaism is about what we say it's about. Judaism is about what we say it's about. Judaism is about what we say it's about.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Recha HaKodash, and double honors to the other apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to the other brethren, you fellow believers of this truth, your supporters of this truth. Shalom to the to you sisters. Shalom to the elect. So ran across this video. His screen name is 666 Yaiquab. So I want to go to this video. This guy is strange. Now, he's supposed to be a convert. Very well may be. It looks like a tear to me. I don't know. But what I noticed about him and the rest of the Jews, he doesn't have a beard. And you can see the 6 o'clock, well, it's daylight savings. No, not yet. So you can see the 5 o'clock shadow on his face, proving this man should have a beard. So are they making mockery of this man to allow him to claim to be one of them, but with a balded face? I'm going to read a scripture that they read and what they believe, right? Let's go to Isaiah. Where we at? Isaiah. Let's go to 49th verse. This is what they read. They'll cut it off on the internet, when they social media, but there's a couple times they read this and they said, to be a part of the olive tree, you must come under them. And of course, this servant, right, has came under them, right? That's all he's saying. So the argument is, when we say we're the people of God, that people must come under us, it's a problem. Now there's all kind of Christians and different beliefs and different faiths, but somehow we can't be Israelites. We can't believe what we want to believe. We can't accept that in Angola and various other places, Kumbaya, and that we were speaking Hebrew. We'll get into that in a second. But this is what I want to read, right? And they claim this prophecy is being fulfilled with the Ethiopians and the other lost tribes that they found. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. I wonder what this balded-faced Christian Jew, black Jew, has to say about this, so-called black. And lick up the dust of thy feet, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. The one thing is to have your heritage snatched, right? Tortured, lynched, belittled. And that's one thing, you know what I'm saying? And another thing is for somebody to steal it and try to fill in the position of the people that was cursed, as in the book of Deuteronomy, and say, it's us. And this helper, I guess that's the best way I could say it, a helpmeet unto them, right? He wants to accept that. Not only this balded face black Jew, but a lot of balded face Christians. Well, Christians are now trying to grow beards. I wonder why, but still don't change the femininity that they have, the effeminate spirit. So I just wanted to bring that out. All that claiming that he believes, but all his fellow peers, from what I see, they have beards, but he doesn't. Maybe he's in a different sect. I don't know. Now the guy, Tudor, do I have that up? I googled it. Tudor Parfait, I think this is him, the British historian. This is who they trust. That. And you can buy, they say you can purchase a license for $400 or $500. I don't know. He's a director of the Center for Jewish Studies. So they hired him to go down and make changes, I guess, or let's say, try to figure out and bring to light what's been going on, which has already been noticed. In other words, they hired him to further whitewash. That's all. The information was already there. Go look at those temples in Africa, right? And in Jerusalem or certain parts of Israel. You'll see black people there. And in those black images, they don't have lights on them, but the white images, they have the bright lights on them. So it seems like they're the only ones allowed to have this hatred. And they talk about the anti-Sem thing. It's crazy. It's almost like saying, well, you can't talk about me, but I can talk about you. And ain't a damn thing you can do about it. So they hired this guy. If there was already well-known evidence and proof of everything, why the hell would they hire this guy? Jean Champollion, who went down into Egypt and broke down the hieroglyphics, who also came with mistranslations. A lot of these scholars come with mistranslations. You would really trust a guy like this? You don't want to know what I think he looks like. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that, there's certain people who are registered. Anyway, let's go to Psalms 80, 83, and 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Okay, so this is the first time looking up Crafty. They have taken crafty counsel, Aram.
Strong's H6191. Aram.
It says to be subtile, to be shrewd, which when you look at shrewd, it means aggressively, to be dedicated, right? Be crafty, beware, taking crafty counsel, prudent, subtile, right? The Strong's definition, but it says, but used only in derivative sense. Smoothness, to be cunning, usually in a bad sense. Prudent, let's go to subtile. Sub means low, by the way. Like your subwoofers, sub speakers, drivers. It says penetrating, ingenious, refined, sophisticated. So they're really demonic, right? Very intelligent with what they do. Intricate, abstruse. I always wanted to know what that actually meant. Abstruse means remote from comprehension. Directly, it means hidden and concealed secret. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Right? That's why the Lord said awake. This is why Paul said in Romans 9:26, as he's saying, Hosea, there shall be in a place that they would not call my people, that will be my people, and there they should be called the children of the living God, the power, which goes back to the book of Hosea. If anybody fits the curses, it's us. This is how we know. We don't need to sit up with this guy Parfait, because if I ever dealt with this guy, he has shut the book through the Spirit. Any of us in GMS, and probably some other Israelite groups, he'll shut the book. It's too much proof. And then we had to question, okay, so why did you say this? And why did you say that? So back in the 70 AD, when certain things happen, just because you see somebody in the land, that means that's who their people are? And that, if that was the case, then the Egyptians would still be in Egypt, right? They would still be in the land of Mizraim, but they're pushed way over. The Native Americans will still occupy this place, along with Southern tribe Israelites. Well, all Israelites would still occupy this place. They wouldn't have went to Russia and occupied Russia. See, what they tend to do is when they steal history, steal lands, they convert it, and through their money and their finances and media, they make people believe from day one through the media and television, MK Ultra, that, hey, these are the people. So every time you see a great person that's portrayed as a white person, we always think it's an Edomite. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. And this is what they did with Charleston Heston and the 10 Commandments or whatever. Come on now. What did they do that for? They knew why they did that, because art imitates life. They knew exactly what they were doing. And there ain't no balded face, shaven face, I don't know what to call him, mix up. Ain't going to change anything that's said. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to work. Deuteronomy 28:28. That's this guy. If he's an Israelite, I'm kind of leaning for this man has to be a tear. He has to be. Anyway, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Yeah, this guy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:64. 48. And it says, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. I guess they're going to say, oh, that was in Babylon. But yeah, okay, let's say that was the case. Like the slave ships in Deuteronomy 28:68. Oh, it was under King Titus. Under Titus and Domitian or whatever they say. But you do know that captivities of the same nature has played out over the generations. All wars have played out over the generations. This is how it go. The woman that starved in Syria and ate her child, well, it happened quite a few times, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Where people got bugged out because they starved. That was the curse to the Jews then. And in 70 AD, around that time, it happened then. Right? Right before Mount Vesuvius erupted, I believe in Herculaneum, where a whole bunch of people, it was in that area, was holding their children, had died. So disasters and prophecies continue, right? So we read Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says there's no new thing under the sun. There's nothing new. So if we did go through those shackles in Babylon and Egypt and various other places, why not America? Because remember, in Babylon, the children of Israel, lineages was reckoned. You see what I'm saying? To a degree. Some of them didn't even know if they was Israelites. Well, we see that happening now, but everything is on a higher scale now. This is how we know it's us. Go to the history and everything that happened. Look at us. You can't say that those people went through that just by looking at them, although some of our people are amongst them. But you can't say it entirely as a people that they went through that. Right? Deuteronomy 28:68 says ships. It don't say what they traveled on. The yokes of iron. You mean to tell me they had yokes of iron around their necks? Get the hell out of here, man. Especially in a time where so-called black people existed. So a point of time we were liked when they was in power. You know this is not making any sense. You know what I'm saying? So you had the Romans who were Edomites, but they say they wasn't. And then, so you see this white nation enslave another white nation, but mainly the black people just where they at. They have no history before the transatlantic slave trade. Get the hell out of here, man. Some weird stuff, man. It's weirdos like this that make it even more weird. Anyway, this is a weird guy. I don't have really much else to say on it, but I just wanted to touch on that. This guy, he really believes that he's one of them, and they let him sit here like the person he looks like, with a balded face, and claim to be under support. This man has no rank. He's a third-class citizen to them, man. And you know they talk snicker and talk behind his back, but they put him to work. I knew a guy that I met maybe 6 months ago. He said he works in those places. And he said, yeah, they take care of me good, give me sandwiches, and they treat me well. You know why, don't you? You're a servant. They just treating you better. Anyway, that's all I have on that.